Welcome to the Church of Mabus radio show. It's Friday night, 7:06 p.m. Central. We're all still alive, sort of. Not really. We're still moshing with the apocalypse. And it's certainly the apocalypse, or at least people that think it is. And then right now we're just waiting for the fake UFO Antichrist alien invasion. That's where we're at this point. That's the next phase from Trumpelgooch. but anyway, Kevin LaPorte, good to have you here, man. I know we were going to interview one point. You were sick or something, and then there's one point. Well, no, it's James Aquilon. I was supposed to have on that a kidney stone. So sometimes crappy stuff happens. We know that, but glad to have you here, and great to do this interview. And how's it going?
Going well, man. Considering the state of the larger world, I'm doing pretty good myself. Can't complain.
I think we're just
glad to finally join you guys. It was like in September. It's been almost 6 months.
Yeah,
since I was supposed to join. So I'm glad to finally make it into my spot here.
Yes. A lot of times when I schedule like months and months in advance. So I have to like dig for dates and stuff. So, but we're glad to get you here, and we're going to get caught up on everything. But yeah, I think we're just like all going crazy from what's happening right now. We're like all in a weird state of shock.
It's like a lot to soak in. It's a lot to weigh when you're trying to be creative, or when you're trying to just get through any given day of things that you normally have to do.
Yeah, definitely. It's a lot. And so right now, what Kickstarter's going right now?
Right now, I'm doing a joint Kickstarter with Martin Piero of Cosmic Times down in West Palm for a book called Turbocharged Teenager, which is loosely based on an old Saturday morning cartoon from the 80s called Turbo Teen. Do you guys remember that one?
No, it doesn't sound familiar.
That sounds familiar.
It's a really weird concept about a high school student that could turn into a car. Like not a transformer, not a robot that turns into a car, but an actual flesh and blood teenager that could turn into a car under certain circumstances.
Now that sounds a little familiar. Yeah. It didn't last long, I don't think, did it?
No, I don't think it made it past like 13 or 14 episodes, but
yeah, a season, maybe 2.
But Martin's concept for this was that it was it sounded more like a horror story than a funny cartoon. It was some kids' bones and flesh turning into metal and rubber tires and things. So that's kind of the approach we took with it. And yeah, it's on Kickstarter right now.
And there's Mark Eddy. Mark Eddy, if you want to sit in for the second hour, let us know. And yeah, I keep thinking of Christine. That's my go-to for cars, like the book and the John Carpenter and everything. And Brian Fuller was supposed to do some new thing that he probably got fired from that or something. But I was hoping. But is there Christine elements in it? Like, is the car, like, is there things like that?
Not really. This is way sillier than Christine. Christine was like, I think King has admitted that it was pretty much a possession story.
Okay.
The car was possessed by a demon. But this is more like a literal kid that can turn into a literal car. So it's more of a Marvel style origin story where kid drives car into a giant special machine made by his dad that transforms him that merges him and the car into one thing. And then the twist that we had, this was Martin's idea, was to change the art style halfway through the book to be more of from a cartoony style to a horror style. And to reflect the change in tone, where it goes from being like a silly cartoon type of story to an actual like gory horror story with the kid turning into a car, where instead of it being kind of a fun thing like on the Saturday morning cartoon, it's more of a, oh my God, what the hell's happening to me thing.
And well, the origin also kind of sounds, are you familiar with Ultraman 1966?
I'm familiar with it, but I'm not as indoctrinated on the story.
It sounds very similar. So in the origin story, I said, spoiler alert for a 60-year-old show. The original show came out after it was a spinoff to another series called Ultra Q. But the origin story was there was a monster being chased by this space policeman called Urutaroman, which is Japanese for Ultraman. Mm-hmm. And Ultraman's spaceship collides with an Earthman spaceship, Shin Hayata, and kills him.
Wow.
Just before he dies, Ultraman goes to Earth and talks to him as he's dying and says, I'm sorry I took your life. I was chasing this bad guy. I'll give you half of my life. We'll become one being. When you need my help, take this beta capsule and you'll turn into me, and I will save the planet for you. And that's the exact premise there. I mean, he doesn't turn into a giant robot. He's half the robot and half the robot is him, and they're one entity. They share. It's a complicated story, but it's going on in Japan. They're along like season like 38, and it's still going.
Kaiju.
Yeah. It's classified as Tokusatsu Kaiju. It's a science fiction monster series.
Okay, cool. Yeah, this is on a much smaller scale than that, but it's similar. There's a little Hal Jordan Green Lantern origin in there too.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Same premise.
Yeah.
Cool. Is it a body horror?
It's definitely a body horror. Yeah. In fact, we used an artist, a good friend of mine, Oscar Pinto from Mexico, who draws, did some of the Vicious Circus Halloween comics with me, as well as some other books that we worked with. But we got him to draw the horror parts because that's kind of his specialty, is to draw the body horror. He's just got a real intuitive knack for that kind of thing.
And also, I wanted to definitely talk about Gothic Matchup. We got the Frankenstein and Cthulhu, and then we got Moby Dick and Dracula. This is getting weird. What is it? Are you allowed to talk about any other future ones? Or
yeah, sure. I mean, I'm pretty much doing this with my partner Amanda Rachel, so we are the company, so I can approve that. Yeah, I think the next one is going to be Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde, and Jack the Ripper.
Nice.
Oh, that sounds good.
Yeah, I definitely want to take it in a weird, unexpected direction, and I certainly got that feedback on the Dracula and Moby Dick book, like why, how. But I was real pleased with how it came out. There's a storytelling challenge with taking the unlikely team up and making it work in some way. And the kind of common thread in the issues of this book is that they're all fighting against some apocalyptic factor from mythology. So in the Dracula and Moby Dick one, there's an element of the Norse Ragnarok that you wouldn't expect. But and in Frankenstein and Cthulhu, there's obviously that Lovecraftian type of apocalypse that they have to work against. And it's been really fun to write. And I've got the premise for the Jack the Ripper and Mr. Hyde book. I'm working on the script now, and the artist is ready to get started here in about 3 or 4 weeks.
I keep up with your newsletter and enjoy it tremendously, and oftentimes it's guiding me to look at things that I normally probably wouldn't have known about. And one of the things I agree with you a lot is the crazy porn crap that's on there. And I know you get heated about that. It pisses me off when I go to stuff and I see it now. I don't mind some kind of boobage, but I like it a little tasteful. Like there's just stuff on there that's just like gross. It's just
the real problem is that Kickstarter's let it take over the platform. It's not that it's there, it's that it's most of what's there. It's consumed much of the backer base has become that customer base. Again, not a problem, but it's eaten up a lot of what Kickstarter was supposed to be for comics creators in the first place, which is a sort of opening opportunity for people that are actually looking to make comics and not just money. I have no problem with people making money or funding at high levels, but when it's only that, or it's mixed in with everything else to the point that it distracts, obscures what other people are doing in comics, that is a problem. And we're at that point on Kickstarter.
Yeah, definitely. And it you see them, so much funds going to them, and it just seems like it's mostly just AI slop with boobs, isn't it? It's just mostly like, I don't even know if it's art.
On the covers, there's a lot of AI, and some of it looks amazing, some of it doesn't. I think it depends on the skill set of the person using it, honestly. I don't see it on the interiors. That's a much harder thing to do because every image has to be its own AI piece of work, and people just don't have the patience or the talent, I think, to actually do that. In fact, one of the problems is that there's such a disparity between the quality of art on the covers and the quality of art on the interiors. Not with everybody. There's certain exceptions to that rule. People who make really great, not safe for work comics on the inside and out, but most of the time they're selling covers. And again, more power to anybody that's an entrepreneur that's making money that way, but it's shut out so much of the other opportunities for comics creators on Kickstarter. It just consumes so much of the pledges. I think I was really digging into the numbers last year in early 25. It was just so time consuming, but I think at that point, not safe for work comics were occupying about 40% of the amount of comics on Kickstarter but more than 65% of the money coming through Kickstarter for comics. That's really disproportionate.
Yeah, and I mean, there's some stuff out there that's good stuff with sexuality in it. I don't have a problem with like there was a crazy one called Deanna of the Dead, and it looked vulgar, but the art was so crazy by like Edward Lee and horror. I was like, man, that looks crazy. I think I'll check that out. But there's the other stuff, you know, you got to like use discernment with it. What are some titles to you that you've seen? I know there's one recently with some Frankenstein lady that looked like it had nudity or something that looked good, but there's some good stuff that has nudity, but it doesn't have to be sick, like vulgar as hell every second.
Right. And I don't know that they've really cracked down on that. Because one of the issues was when you submit a Kickstarter campaign, they give you a like a little thumbnail image that you use to promote your project in the search results.
Yeah.
And that has to be community accessible. You can't have a not safe for work image there, but people do it and they get away with it as long as they can. And so there'll be full nudity in one of those. And Kickstarter wasn't catching it because they were using, I don't know if they were using AI to like screen or curate the projects that come in at first. But things were slipping by. And so you would have somebody with a children's book and their thumbnail would be right next to one with, and I don't just mean like tasteful, like Baroque era artwork of a nude. It's, porn stuff. And again, that's free in there for anybody that wants it, but it shouldn't be there without you consenting for it to be there to see in that sort of mode. And I haven't seen much of that lately, so maybe they've done something to that effect. Because I certainly made a lot of noise about it, not just on my Substack, but also in direct communication with Kickstarter.
Well, and also there's that lawsuit going on for the different social media too. So I think a lot of people are getting a little scared and hiding things on their websites now.
Yeah, and then there's an issue with I think there was a free comic book day event in one of the Carolinas, and they gave out a copy of Matt Wagner's Grendel, which is a classic comic, but it's an adult comic, and there are adult themes and adult artwork in there. And they put that lady in jail, the lady that owned that comic shop that gave that out on Free Comic Book Day. So there are a lot of different angles to it right now in the world of comics.
Wow, that's crazy.
Yeah,
it's crazy.
Are they doing a Grendel show on Netflix, or there were or something like that? They were going to do something.
I thought they were. I don't know where it stands. Yeah,
I think it got axed. So, man, keeping up with comics. Like I started collecting when I was earlier in my 20s, and then like an idiot, I sold a bunch of Image comics, and it was stupid. And then I kind of felt bad about it. And then finally, I started doing comics again. And then I went crazy, and now I have like 13 boxes and a Kickstarter addiction. like it gets crazy. There's so many titles.
Yeah.
And it's just there's so many cool things. But what are some things coming up, some future projects that are coming up this year?
Well, the next big thing I've got is I've been working on a comic called Last Ride of the Four Horsemen since about 2010. My collaborator on that is a local friend of mine, Nathan Smith, who was the artist, passed away while we were creating the book. And I think it was 2018. We lost Nathan. And so it was on hiatus for a while there, but I went forward with it. And it's ultimately going to be like 13 issues, but the last issue is launching on the 17th of this month. And so all 13 issues worth of material will be available in that. It's sort of a steampunk take on the biblical apocalypse. So very steampunk themed, very steeped in the lore of the Four Horsemen, but also a little Clint Eastwood spaghetti Western kind of vibe to it. I'm excited to put that last chapter out there.
Yeah, I need to jump on that one for sure. Definitely. It's on my radar.
And all the art is done for the last issue. I'm just lettering it. It is ready to roll. I'm excited to get that entire story into people's hands for that. I'm really proud of it.
And that's the final one. Will that be the only way to get them after that, or will they be available at the store? Or
no, we don't do the direct market. We'll have them on our website at inversepress.com, our flatlinecomics.com. But we'll have them through Kickstarter, and then I'll collect this last arc into a trade paperback over the summer. And so then I'll have a 3-book set that'll have the entire story in it. And at some point, next couple of years, I'll do an omnibus with all like 300 pages of it in one book.
Awesome. I'm going to have to jump in at some point for sure on that one. What's it called again? I know the name, but my mind's, what's the title of that one? The Armageddon one?
Last Ride of the Four Horsemen.
Okay. Cool. And so what is Inverse Press compared to Flatline Comics? Is it two separate things? Or I mean, what?
It's the same. Inverse Press was our original, that's our company name, Inverse Press LLC. But a few years ago, around 2016, we had an opportunity with a buddy of mine who's a wrestling historian, John Crowther, to do some biographical wrestling comics. And so we actually met and he did direct interviews with wrestlers like, good Lord, Grant Gangrel, Jeannie Basson, who's Hollywood from Glow. Nikolai Volkov was our first one. The Rock and Roll Express, different folks like that. And we made bio comics for several years. So we ended up with 2 lines. So we had a Squared Circle comics line for the wrestlers, and then we wanted one for our horror comics. And so I split that off into Flatline Comics as our imprint for horror.
Okay, cool. I got you.
And it just stuck. I really like it, so we just stuck with it.
And definitely. And well, I'm glad to see Alabama representing. I've found some people in Florida representing a creative side, and I try to get them on any way possible. And we've had, I don't know if you're familiar with Al Going Back, OWL Going Back. He's look him up on Amazon if you get a chance. He writes Native American horror.
Okay.
And he's been around for a long time. He's down here. We've had Joe R. Lansdale on too about Weird West and stuff.
Cool.
But I love Weird West, and the Horseman kind of is that Weird West. There's some Weird West in there, isn't there?
Absolutely Weird West. 100% Weird West. Yeah.
Love it.
Weird West is cool.
Yeah.
The more the merrier. I've had Joe R. Lansdale on talking about the Jonah hexes he did and stuff with Timothy Truman. Yeah. I have a tattoo.
I railed him on Batman Beyond and Batman animated series, so it was good.
Yeah, he wrote some of those too. And yeah, that was a good one. And so I'm kind of curious, what made you start loving comics? What were some of the first initial titles that you grasped onto as you were growing up?
Wow, it goes back to the 70s, the mid 70s, and the spinner racks at like the convenience stores and drugstores. And
me too.
Just as a little kid, back in those days, I was in 76. I was probably, I guess I was 5, and I discovered the Hulk. And those comics back then had a really dark edge to them, at least for that time period. And it just felt like I was reading something I wasn't supposed to be reading, because he would get so mad and just destroy everything. And as a angry little tantruming kid, it seemed like I could relate to that.
Yeah.
And so I started reading the Hulk, discovered Spider-Man through that. I don't know if you guys remember the Color Forms play sets, the little vinyl appliques.
I think about those sometimes.
And my mom bought me that Spider-Man one. I'll never forget it. And I started reading Spider-Man comics from that. And about 5 years later, a friend introduced me to the X-Men, and then I was done. That was it for me. I've just been an X-Men guy ever since. Even they're kind of in a lull right now, but I've been an X-Men reader. And then, of course, as a teenager in the 80s, it was such a perfect time for comics with Watchmen, Dark Knight Returns. Just go down the list of the incredible timeless comics that were made in the 80s. The Chris Claremont run on X-Men.
Oh God, yeah.
Yeah.
Those are the 90s. I was collecting most of the Marvel books, most of the X books, the Spider books, and in DC I was grabbing mostly Batman, and I got the first year of Shazam when they redid Captain Marvel. But the 90s was the artwork and the storylines for the X-Men, and for the most part Spider-Man too, really, really got good, and especially when they got to the crossover where he acquires the black spider suit.
Oh yeah,
very cool stuff. Yeah.
Secret Wars.
Days.
Yeah, Secret Wars. Thank you.
Secret Wars at Kroger, begging for it to my mom. Fantastic Four. I remember The Thing, the little spin-off series from Fantastic Four, The Thing, and begging. I was always begging. Still am.
And the thing is, back then when I started, I was begging for 35 cents. That's all it took.
Yeah. Oh, now, God.
I think my first Spider-Man was probably like 15 cents. I'm
no
about
kidding.
5 years older than you, so I had a few years head start.
Oh yeah.
And I mean, comics now, I keep up with some DC, some Marvel. I try to keep from Dark Horse. And there's some, Image and stuff. I'm really liking the EC comic stuff that they're redoing, the EC comics, And what are some titles now that you keep up with? Do you still keep up with X-Men to this day?
I do. Right now, I think they're not in the best spot, but I do enjoy Gail Simone's Uncanny X-Men. She's just one of the best dialogue writers in comics, and she makes it a lot of fun. She gets the characters and gives them the voice that seems familiar to me, but she makes it feel new in some ways. So I've enjoyed that one. The new Batman series with Matt Fraction writing it is so much fun. I like Absolute Batman too, but I'm a kind of a traditionalist when it comes to the characters. And I like that they've kind of gone back to the roots of Batman and not just grim, but also has a life as Bruce Wayne that's fun to follow along with, and not just total grim dark. So I'm reading those. I keep up with the Energon universe over there at Skybound at Image with G.I. Joe. I'm a G.I. Joe nerd since '82. And the Transformers book. So it's really good stuff that they're doing, and surprising how they keep that fresh.
I got them all, and those are amazing. Those are great. Commander Cobra Commander series. I was like, y'all needed to keep that one going forever. That was really good.
Well, there's a huge revival in the GI Joe market right now. Is it Eagle Moss? Eagle Moss or Factory Direct? One of the studio prop replica companies that broke up from Master Replicas is doing like the Mego dolls, but better.
Wow.
So they got they're doing right now Space 1999. They're doing Battlestar Galactica, the original 76 run of Battlestar Galactica, new Cylon Raiders and the Vipers. Wow. And I think they're doing some X-Men stuff over there too.
And that's Mego style toys.
Well, the 12-inch old school action figures, cool. but they're much better. And I think they got some GI Joes up there as well, and like one or two. But I think they're just started on it, so there's more to come. I'm hoping. So look at it's either Factory Direct or Factory Entertainment and Eagle Moss. One of those two is doing it.
It's really interesting to me that there's been a revival in that sort of thing in general, because I did weirdly a rewatch of Space 1999 over the past couple of years, and then I saw where there's a company doing a 3 3/4 inch scale like the 1980s Joe's Eagle from Space 1999. That thing is like 3.5 feet long and totally detailed inside and out, and it comes with the little O-ring figures of the Space 1999 astronaut. So I can't justify adding one more toy line to my insatiable collecting, so I didn't get it, but I wanted to.
Yeah, I'm with you on that too. But there are two lines or two companies doing the Space 1999. I know the one you're talking of. I just saw it. I think that's the Factory Direct or Factory Entertainment one. But there's a group. It's like Saturn 6 or something like that in England, and they're doing Space 1999 stuff, and they do like a 1/1 scale electronic stun gun, kill gun, and a 1/1 electronic communicator. So you can it Bluetooth to your phone with a screen on it and all that. It's expensive, but you can really role play with it. But they're also doing the Eagles, and they've got a 3-footer also.
That's cool. That's really cool.
Hey, did you know they're bringing the Mask comic to Energon? Mask.
I was excited to see that.
Yeah.
That's cool.
It's definitely going to be good. I used to have
space was terrible lately, but
I used to have those little Mask figures when I was a kid.
There's a company that's remaking them all, but they're not doing anything new. They're just doing the old molds that Hasbro licensed to them.
Yeah.
So it still looks cool, but they haven't actually put anything out yet, I don't think. I would rather see something new with the same characters. I'd love to see a G.I. Joe classified scale Mask series. They'd be
Yeah,
insanely expensive,
they're
but
gonna
I'd love
bring
to see
them
it.
all together. They're gonna bring them all together, and they're already doing it some. But what about those Transformers smashing soldiers? Like that's a lot more violent, isn't it? It's
It
like
is much more violent. Yeah. But more realistic. I think that's what they'd actually
It's
do.
more violent. It's definitely more realistic. I mean, if
the
you're a
the
9-foot tall robot and you can pick up a human and squash him like a bug, you would. You know.
in the new comics, Jay, the evil Transformers just like kill the hell out of it, like splat them like flies.
Yeah, that's perfect. I would absolutely enjoy that. I haven't seen those comics yet, but I definitely need to get into them.
The
I'd be
compendiums are
disappointed if
starting to
Starscream
roll
didn't
out.
squish people.
Yeah, man, that Kickstarter. I did the GI Joe ones on there, the Transformer boxes. Oh my god! Now I'm eyeballing that Hellraiser. I was like, why didn't y'all put that on the payment plan, you assholes? Like,
Have you read those Hellraiser comics before?
no, I haven't.
They are insanely good because Clive Barker actually wrote a lot of those.
Yeah.
So, yeah. I mean, they are really, really good.
I'm going to have to do the 350, I guess.
I'm still thinking about it. But I'll probably get them.
It hurts. And then there's some kind of Marvel ones in there, like some kind of there's a third book of, it's only on the certain tiers at the end, the expensivest ones. And the 350 has the Marvel third actual book that has Hellraiser Marvel stuff in it too.
Oh, they had that anthology book in the 80s and early 90s for Hellraiser.
Yes, there's 2 Image, 1 Marvel.
I think the ones from Boom and Image are better. As I recall, I think I read all that stuff, but still very good stuff. Probably worth the investment.
What about this comic called Dork? Did you see that one?
I've heard about it, but I don't know much about it. It
pissed me off so bad because I'm going through money crap as usual, and there's a comic called D''ORC. It's about a half dwarf, a half orc, and it looks funny. I mean, it looks okay, but when I saw it initially, when I was like, looking at pre-orders or whatever, I was like, nah, I don't need another one. I got enough going on. And then I see the second or third issue. I'm like, you know what? I'm going to check out this Dork. I go to freaking eBay and it's $90 now. And it just came out.
Wow.
It's just
how do you know?
Is it a one-off?
How can you even project that?
You can't find it anywhere. I'm telling friends, if you find them, keep them. We'll have it like The Sopranos. like Dork. Yeah, if you see them in a store up there, grab them because they're going for $90 to $200 a pop.
Wow.
Is it a one-off or is it a series?
It's like 6 issues. There'll probably be other spinoffs of it. It's like a fantasy that was kind of goofy. I was shocked. I was like, I just wanted issue number 1 for $5.
A half dwarf, half orc?
Yeah, he's half orc, half dwarf.
Wow, that's weird.
Yeah, but I hate when that happens. But and you literally are looking everywhere for it, and it's nowhere. Like it's but on there for $99. But yeah, so I've kept up with I'm keeping up with the new Batman, the Fraction one, and the Absolute. And I don't know, I haven't read that many, and I mean, we don't have to do spoiler, but what do you know so far about the Joker and the Fraction one? Any like in a cryo tank? Has that come out yet? I've been trying to figure. I can't wait to see that.
No, I guess I'm a little behind. I read it on DC Infinite, which is only about a week behind. It doesn't come out like the Marvel books on the Marvel app come out like 3 months later. But I haven't seen much about the Joker in the Fraction one.
He's in an issue coming up. He's in a cryo tank in the front cover.
Oh, that's interesting. I'd be curious to see because I think it's hard to write the Joker. The Joker, everybody kind of has their own take, but he's never really funny. And one thing I noticed was that in the Batman Deadpool crossover books, that the guys that wrote that, including Grant Morrison, who did the DC version, made the Joker really kind of funny and still scary. And I think that's a hard thing to pull off. But with Deadpool there, it somehow made the Joker more funny than usual. And I really enjoyed that instead of just weird and scary and cracking corny jokes all the time.
Yeah, I need to read that. Grant Morrison doing Joker's got to be good for sure.
That's a hell of a book.
Well, and also one of the Joker's main themes was he'd make you laugh until you died. And that's extremely hard to do. How do you write that? I mean, how do you write stories where he's making people laugh so hard that they eventually have a heart attack and die?
And
you can only do that once or twice, you know.
The Joker now is kind of like the Terrifier clown, like ripping faces off and crazy. You know, he's a lot.
That's a great comparison, actually.
Yeah, there's some similarities. I know the guy that plays him. He hangs out on my Facebook, David Howard Thornton. But I love those movies, but they're rough to watch. Like, I don't watch them over and over. I'll watch them a couple of times and maybe once again, you know, whenever. But those scenes in there, those are rough, man.
That's an understatement. Yeah.
It's sawing her in half. What's the one with the cryo tank thing or whatever? What's it called when you freeze things or whatever? The
cryo tank is correct. Yeah.
Yeah.
He freezes a dude's head and breaks it. But yeah, I enjoy them, but they are rough. But so you do writing and illustration, or just writing and the company?
I'm just a writer. Yeah. My partner Amanda is the illustrator for Vicious Circus, and she's working on the next issue of that as we speak. But I have a team of very reliable artists that I've worked with for years. I talked about Oscar Pinto, who's done some work on the Turbocharged Teenager book with us. But he's done covers and interiors for us for many years, and we just did a book called Dark Woven that we kickstarted back in January, and I'm working on the script for the second issue of that right now.
Awesome.
Do you have are any of your artists from the Savannah College of Art and Design?
I am sure that I've worked with somebody in the past. I can't remember who it is, but it's not uncommon to run across folks who did go to SCAD. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm one of them. I didn't go for sequential arts, but they did have. I don't know if they still do. They rerouted all their curricula last time I looked. They even got rid of my department, video,
wow.
which was carrying the school for a long time. But they used to have sequential arts, which is comic book, and some of the initial the first season or the first year of classes, man, they had some real good talent in there. And even in the painting and illustration departments where most of my friends were going to school, even they were, comic book, savvy writer, or at least illustrators. So it was an excellent environment to hang out in. And music wise, I grew up outside of DC. The Bayou discovered AC/DC. No one ever has gone to see the nightlife in Savannah, Georgia. They have some of the best night live music you would ever have anywhere. Yeah. It's fantastic.
Is there going to be a Vicious Circle Epstein crossover? I see they hunt child abusers. That might come in handy.
I don't know if I want to step into that mess.
Give it a few years before comic books.
But in spirit, what he's referring to is that the clowns of the Vicious Circus go after child abusers specifically instead of after children. So they're like nightmare horror clowns, but they kill abusers instead of like Pennywise eats children. Ours are exactly the opposite. They're still horrible. They're still violent, but they go after the bad guys instead of the kids.
Nice. That's the best way to go. The Dexter route.
Yeah. Serial killer.
Yeah. And so what are some things? Is there anything else coming up that you can talk about? Any other ones?
Let's see. Working on the next couple of issues of that really weird Deep Space Lovecraft book that I did. Is so much fun to put together. Where we take I'm taking word for word the short stories of Lovecraft, the first person stories of Lovecraft, and sewing them into one long narrative where it's like the narrator for each book is the same character but set in like a retro futuristic science fiction story. And so it's the same main character in every book, but the story changes, and I use Lovecraft's words, but I have to change up the sequencing just to make it feel like a comic. But I'm really kind of pumped about how that's turned out, how much fun it is. It's been a really cool writing exercise in terms of how to script a comic, to take something as Lovecraft writes very differently between short stories, but to take his style and convert it into comics that feel like they're part of one universe has been really, really fun.
It sounds kind of like you're stealing from Moorcock a little bit there too, where he's got the same soul, Michael Moorcock, Coram and Elric. All of his stories have different characters in them, but the main character is always the same soul. So the soul of Elric is in Corum. It's in other, lead characters in his other books. And so the soul is different stories, different types of stories throughout the same universe, but it's all one dude.
So it's sort of reincarnated between stories.
Kind of, yeah, sort of. I don't know how to explain him like that, but it's not so much reincarnation as like it's the soul just travels between these different people somehow. I don't know how he worked it, but I used to have almost all of his books, but almost 90% of my library didn't convert over to the new house. But that's okay. I'm starting to pick them back up.
I could see how the sci-fi thing could work with H.P. Lovecraft with the creatures and stuff, because they are kind of sci-fi. They are in a lot of ways sci-fi horror,
Yeah, kind of like the Twilight Zone series from the 60s. The further he got into his writing career, the more kind of sci-fi they got in terms of his stories, and until there were actually alien abductions in a few of them. But earlier on, they're more gothic horror. But to convert them into something that feels a little and looks a little more sci-fi has been not as much of a challenge. It's just as much. It's been kind of joyful to me. Science fiction is kind of my sweet spot. Hard science fiction, alien, things like that. Event Horizon, and so to kind of come along with something like that with a totally different aesthetic, because this is definitely retro futuristic, has been a lot of fun.
Event Horizon was going off in my head right before you said it.
Oh yeah.
I know there's been some comics with IDW of that. I haven't read them, but I have them.
I've heard it's really good. I've actually got them in the house. I have not read them either, but I've heard really great things about it.
They're doing a prequel to Event Horizon. There's supposed to be some kind of prequel, a movie at some point.
There's a lot of untapped potential there. That's an insanely underappreciated horror movie.
Yeah, that's so crazy. That Sunshine one was pretty good. It's kind of like that, but
that was Danny Boyle. Yeah. 28 Days Later. That's a hell of a movie. I think Chris Evans is in that, and Cillian Murphy. That's a wild movie.
We just saw 28 Years Later, The Bone Temple. It was good. Those are crazy for sure. There's Jason Momoa zombies running around with their schlongs, but other than that, it's still pretty good. But no, Ralph Fiennes. I never thought I'd see him in a zombie apocalypse movie. He's like dancing around and doing all kinds of crazy. But yeah, those are good. I like them.
You never know what Voldemort's up to in his free time. I mean,
yeah, especially now. Everything's so creepy, scary. But so I don't know, man. Well, I know what I was going to ask you about. Absolute Batman. Man, some of those have shot up in price. If you miss those, you're crap out of luck. But what's going on with the Joker in that? He's he's kind of like the It Clown now or something in that, isn't he? Or something?
Because he has like a human form, and then he turns into almost like a lizard type of form.
Yeah.
And, it's really bizarre. I think Scott Snyder has such interesting high concepts.
He's good,
for his characters, and the way that he's built out the Absolute Batman universe, with like all the villains being like his buddies to start with, and then they get twisted and changed over the course of the story. The only one that's not like that is the Joker, which I found pretty interesting. Instead, he's like this world dominating tycoon, like almost like a tech bro.
Rich. He's rich.
Yeah, and not like the Joker of the comics of the regular DC universe at all. So it's a definitely different take, and I mean you can always count on that from Snyder. Every iteration of Batman that he's written has had a different sort of Joker and a different rogues gallery and a different support system. So Absolute is definitely it's the ultimate evolution of that, because it is dark, man. That book is super heavy.
Which one?
Absolute Batman.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, I need to catch up on them. That's I was keeping up with Superman and Wonder Woman in that one, and I started to do some of the other ones, but then I was like, I'm just going to keep up on these three for right now. I can't keep up with all of these. And then I was keeping up with what's the other one from Marvel? Their Hold to Do. They ended it early, which was kind of weird, but I kept up with that one. Yeah, I kept up with that. I didn't get Black Panther, which I don't hate Black Panther. Maybe one day I will get it, but I was kind of like, well, why are y'all ending it so early? That's not a good sign, is it?
Yeah, really kind of a strange decision because it was successful. Yeah. I'm not sure. I guess their creative team backed out or something, or had other obligations, and it didn't make sense to me either.
One of the ones I like is the Philip Kennedy Johnson Incredible Hulks. He's doing those new ones. Those
Yeah,
are good.
Infernal Hulk. Yeah.
Yeah, that one, the first one, then the Infernal Hulk. He's doing a good job. I like those a lot, and I like the Immortal Hulk. But what happened to Donnie Cates or whatever? Is he out of the game for good? Do you know?
He was in a car wreck.
Yeah, I heard that.
Right when he started that weird take on the Hulk that I kind of dug, actually, where the concept was that the Hulk was like a vehicle. The Hulk as a body was like a vehicle, but Bruce Banner was like the pilot in the brain that was controlling the vehicle like a spaceship. And that was such a bizarre notion. And then he got in a car wreck, and it's like that's a concept you can't just hand off to another writer to execute because it's so weird. And so I think
Was that Immortal Hulk? That was Immortal Hulk, wasn't it?
that was yeah, maybe it was.
Yeah,
no, Immortal Hulk was the body horror one that Al Ewing wrote, where he kept getting blown up and he would just be like destroyed tissue and still walking around.
Yeah.
I cannot remember the name of that particular version of the Hulk to save my life.
At some point, but
yeah, he ended up, as I understand it, he ended up with brain damage from a car wreck.
Oh man!
And I heard that he will be making a comeback. I read something to that effect recently, and hopefully that's the case. Hell of a writer.
Yeah, that's really sad when stuff like that happens, but hopefully he does a comeback. And there was a Thor one he did too. I have those. I didn't read them. They're supposed to be really good too. That he did.
I think that was the Herald of Galactus.
Yeah, he did a Venom too, but those are too expensive. I had to omnibus that one for sure. There's a point where you collect comics so much, you're like, man, I need to go to the omnibuses. This is just crazy. Like when you try to, like mine need to be organized, and it's like out of hand. Just the boxes and stuff. It's not good. Is that comic right there is that your comics from the company or your private collection right there in the room with you, right behind you, the other side?
Oh, this is our inventory.
Oh, okay.
That's our own hand inventory that we use for shipping. Yeah. That's all Flatline Comics and Inverse Press stuff. Yeah. Awesome. I had a massive collection that I had built from the late 70s to the late 90s. And I sold it off at one point, and it's a big regret of mine. But
been there,
but you know, it was a lot to carry around.
Back there, if you ever need help of an experienced forklift driver, I've got 17 plus years experience on it, so I got you covered.
I'll make a note.
So the main reason we do the show, we do everything. It's kind of like a freak show carnival, but the main reason we do it is UFOs and paranormal, because I've had some stuff happen to me after testicular cancer when I was 17 and my father's death. And I'm kind of curious, you're in Alabama. Is that where you were born?
Yeah, I live in Fairhope now on the east side of Mobile Bay, but I grew up on the west side of Mobile Bay, just north of Mobile. Yeah.
I have a lot of relatives there. I used to live in Jopa, somewhere. It was in the woods. But that's Alabama. But yeah, Florida's the same way. But I'm curious, does the paranormal come up ever? Have you had any experiences? Is it something you think about a lot?
It's something I think about a lot, but I'm pretty much a total skeptic, just myself. But we actually did a podcast like 3 or 4 years ago for a couple of years called Ain't No Such Thing. And we talked about southern cryptids for the most part.
Awesome.
And I actually, our partner Erica Heflin and I wrote short stories around a lot of those cryptids and horror stories from the South. And I actually collected those into a novel last year called Baptizer. That's it's a 16 chapter book that includes 10 stories about southern cryptids and hauntings.
I think I saw that. Is it on the site for sale still?
Yeah, it's on my website. Yeah.
Okay, I'll check it out.
Flatlinecomics.com. So that was a lot of fun. So we definitely spent a lot of time with it. You know, there's these repeated myths across the country, like Crybaby Bridge. We have one in Mobile County that I thought was exclusive to us. When I researched it, there's like one in every state. There's a place called Crybaby Bridge.
Bellamy Bridge or something.
Yeah, and so there's different origin stories and things like that. And definitely in high school, I went out to Crybaby Bridge with some friends to explore it, and you get creeped out there, but ultimately nothing really happens. But yeah, so definitely fascinated by it. I've just never personally had any experiences.
Yeah, and we got some Bigfoot activity where I'm at, and I know there is in Alabama, but Stacy Brown from Finding Bigfoot, I've hung out with him, and him and his dad got some crazy thing on thermal that was really crazy. His dad's passed now, but it was right here in the Panhandle, and they won some Spike TV 30,000 for it or some contest thing. But yeah, we got some Squatch down here, and I know Squatch is in Alabama for sure.
So is that a skunk ape or a Sasquatch?
I swear I saw the thermal video, and it looked like a caveman or something running through their backyard. Hopefully it wasn't one of them, but they won 30 grand with scientists and stuff.
It was one of those things from that 28 Days Later movie.
Yeah. I know. It's like, man.
The one good thing I do like about the research is that a lot of people come in like yourself as a skeptic, which is great, which is perfect. We need those kinds of, clear thinking people. But within time, almost every skeptic becomes a believer. You got John Mack, J. Allen Hynek. Let's see, the guy that did the it starts with the C files. The Condon report. He was a skeptic. 3 or 4 of them right in a row there. Some of the research, there's just so much, just complete eyewitness stories on Bigfoot that it has to be true. I've seen him up close and personal, and the reason why Jeffrey says he looks like a caveman is because they're hominids. They're just like us. The face is 100% human. They're just extremely tall and wide and smell like the Dickens. And they can probably pick a 6-foot human up and throw them about 10 or 12 yards. Easy.
Well, I saw something about the Native Americans on Facebook, and it was artwork and stuff telling a story about the Stick Tribe. And the Stick Tribe, they look like Neanderthals in the woods in the pictures, but they would throw rocks and sticks at you, and that's why the natives call them the Stick Tribe.
That's typical primate behavior, though.
Yeah. But man, what's going on right now with UFOs? The reason why it's a serious subject, and I always try to have humor with it. And I'm someone who's seen UFOs and weird beings with multiple witnesses. And it could have been a government frying my brain with a laser showing me hallucinations. I don't know what it was, but I saw it. But I still don't know if it was really an alien or what the hell it was. But anyway, the big thing is with that right now is when you have, and we're not going to get into politics, but when you have the whole thing coming out about the military generals saying Trump's anointed by God and revelations is coming because we're doing Iran, and a lot of the soldiers are getting upset and complaining and writing some organization. When it comes to the UFO subject, I have some concerns about, we always have, about Project Bluebeam and fake UFO alien invasions and things like that, where they do holograms and stuff like that. Like there's a story supposedly where they were going to show a hologram over Cuba of Jesus and cause unrest. And they were going to send an Allah hologram into terrorist cells so they'll confess. Like they do stuff like that. They have crap like that. And but my concern right now with the UFO subject is Trump Gooch is crazy enough to do a fake alien invasion to us. Sure, go ahead and do it. Why not?
Why would he do a fake one when he's trying to release all the files? That doesn't make sense.
Well, he ain't going to release the files. He hasn't done anything with the files, has he? He just says stuff.
He's not in control of them, but the powers that are will likely they're going to. I mean, it's going to be like how people do that trick in the movies. You try to hand over a file, and they're tugging. It's going to be a tug of war.
I know.
The powers that have that information are not going to want to give it up.
I know. I just walked past the television, and my mom watches MSNBC or whatever the hell, and they're on there just plain out talking about Trump raping little girls when you walk by the TV, and they're going into explicit detail about some new stuff the Department of Justice released. So, and that's just me walking by the TV.
Believe me, they're
things are really crazy.
Suing that company for $6 billion right now for libel. So
I think Trump likes the baby jerky. But anyway, let's get away from that subject. Anyway, Kevin, man, so what's some tell us about some more projects and some links so we make sure everything's getting plugged.
Okay, well, if you go to Kickstarter right now, you can search on Turbo and our book about the crazy high school student that turns into a car is funding through the 17th. And then on the 17th, I'm launching Last Ride of the Four Horsemen the last issue, the final story that closes out the entire arc, 13 issues. And you can actually search on that Last Ride of the Four Horsemen on there now and actually follow that campaign, so you'll be notified when we launch on the 17th.
Awesome.
And any of our books, from Vicious Circus to The Absentee, which is speaking of UFOs, like an interdimensional alien possession story, to Last Ride of the Four Horsemen, the trade paperbacks for the first 2 series are up there now, can be found at Flatline Comics or inversepress.com.
Very cool. And man, there's just so many different avenues of comic creativity. Some of the I hunt down stuff about Bigfoot, like Norse stuff. I'm always looking for that. I'm always looking for Weird West, always looking for UFO. Like, I don't know if you've seen those James Tinian Project Blue Book comics.
I haven't, but he's such a good writer. I need to check those out.
Yeah. You'd be better if you find in the issues, but I'm sure they have them in some kind of collection now. But basically what it is Project Blue Book cases, like Betty and Barney Hill,
cool.
the interracial couple that had UFO stuff happen to them in the 60s. There's different cases, and he tells the stories with art. He also has some weird thing on Amazon. Click his name and look at some other weird paranormal thing he did. Weird something that's got like cryptids and stuff in it. But here's the neatest thing, that they just did Project Red Book, and I haven't read it yet, but basically it's cases from China and Russia of UFO cases.
Wow.
So they're getting crazy with the UFO stuff with the comics.
Interesting.
Yeah. Another big one I like is Vlad the Impaler. You need to Vlad the Impaler somehow. I always try to look. So he's not easy to find in comics, but he's there. he's around.
I guess Dracula's as close as you get, huh?
Yeah. Dracula's there.
He's the first immortal, so yeah.
Dracula, you got Dracula. You got Dracula for sure. Like, some of the stuff is like there's a lot of historical comics with him where it's just historical with no fantasy, but I like all of the above when they mix it it up a little bit.
You gotta dramatize it, amp it up a little bit.
There went a cat doing something that they should not have done just now. But anyway, Kevin, thanks so much. It's been a great time. I swear a water fountain, a sink just went off by itself, and a big metal pan, I don't even know, but I gotta check it. But thanks so much, man, and we'll get you on again, and we appreciate it. Thanks so much. And
thanks. Nice talking with you guys. Have a good night.
Yeah, thanks, Kevin.
I'll keep promoting it to help out. I love it. Take care, man.
Take care.
Have a good night. All righty. Let's see. Who is in the kitchen? Somebody in there? Somebody.
Ghosts and demons.
It's cats being crazy.
Demons.
But cats being cuckoo.
What we paid them for
was loud, whatever it was. Man. I'm just saying, with the Epstein stuff, I didn't know it had reached that level where they're just like talking about that particular, him actually doing stuff on like the news channels. Like, I was just shocked that they were I didn't even know
it's fiction. It's none of that's in those files at all.
And why did the Department of Justice just release something saying he did it? And it's from the Department of Justice.
Don't trust MS now. They're full of shit. They got canned off. They got split off from NBC, and NBC got rid of them because they were lying.
Are you a Fox News now? Is that what what do you listen to? Fox News? You don't listen to Fox.
I watch Fox, ABC, CBS, NBC. I don't look at CNN. CNN kind of sucks too.
I don't watch any of them.
And I gotta watch all of them so I can get everybody's opinions.
You want a guy that tells the truth? And he's a former, I'm pretty sure he's Republican, Black Scout Survival. He's on YouTube, and you ain't going to agree with him, but he is like ripping Trump's ass up, and he is as right-wing as you can be. But he's a survivalist.
Well, that's why I won't like him. I'm centrist. I'm in the middle.
Yeah,
he's about the right or the left.
I'm in the all sides can kiss my ass. That's what I'm in. And our own government can kiss my ass. I don't even like them. So, and now I certainly don't. I don't like any of them. Why don't you go give some syphilis to some black soldiers there, USA? Yeah, that's
They
what they like
already
to
did
do.
that. They've
I
already done
know
that.
it's what they do. They just MK Ultra everybody up, drug us.
They gave blankets to children, women, and children, American Indians on the Trail of Tears, laden with chicken pox or smallpox rather. Killed them.
This is just so stupid. Oh my gosh. What's the things going around saying that Iran is whooping our butt? Like there's weird Facebook posts.
Who's saying that? MS
there.
now? Yeah, they're getting their asses handed to them.
Just like news.
Their Air Force is gone. 30 plus of their Navy ships are at the bottom of the Persian Gulf.
What was the thing they're bombing? Pictures of airplanes. Where Iran drew pictures of them on the ground and they got bombed, just like pictures. It's on my wall. But anyway, everything sucks. Welcome to the apocalypse. But don't worry. Jesus Christ is going to return now that Iran's getting bombed. So we got it in this. You don't agree with that, do you? They're going around basically saying that the reason they're doing it is to bring on the apocalypse and the return of Jesus Christ. Like the military is even passing the message from Hegsworth or whatever.
No, it's a bunch of bullshit. What they're doing is they're stopping a bunch of idiots that were trying to negotiate with us and stall with us while they were trying to enrich more uranium to make bombs. And then they were going to drop those bombs on us in Israel. What's happening now should have happened in 1979 when the Iranian students stormed our embassy and took those 66 people hostages. We should have taken over that country then, or right after they were released 444 days later when Reagan took over office after Carter. What we're doing now is a direct result of inaction by President Carter and President Reagan to stop this when it initially happened 47 years ago. So, yes, I'm all for it. Blow the living shit out of it. I've been saying that since 1980.
Yeah. Well, it's just going to get crappier and crappier, I'm sure. Where'd Mark Eddy go? Mark Eddy, you still there? Mark Eddy, you still there? Mark Eddy. He came from the jungles. Man.
I think he bailed.
I have to go get a weed card Monday.
Like you already had one.
Nope. I have to go get one. But I have to get it because I'm on probation.
Wait, isn't it recreational in Florida?
Medicinal.
Only medicinal? Oh.
Yeah, I'm on probation now. Never thought I'd be on probation. Wow. I'm a tough guy. You're a bad guy now. You want to be a bad guy? I'll show you a bad guy. It's the biggest.
Say hello to my little friend.
It's the biggest money racket I've ever seen in my life.
Oh, good. That and DUI.
Yep, I got a buddy that went through that. For a first offense misdemeanor, a $750 fine. I have to pay $70 a month for 6 months, plus $40 a month for 6 months for the probation office, and then $25 a week for 8 weeks for anger management. It's horrible. It's just insane. If it wasn't for donations, I guess I'd be going back to jail. I have to pay it every month for 6 months. You have to go. You have to check in. I'm talking about just for a little, hardly nothing. Someone called the police because we were loud, and it was just a little scruffle, but it's hardly anything. And basically, they sacrificed the penis, and I was the penis. It's what they do. But okay, yeah, Mark's coming. That's right. I need you, Mark. I can't do this right now. So yeah, come on. Been a long week. I'm sending it to you. I can just hurry up and figure out what I'm doing. I'm burning that midnight oil, baby. But
You're burning something.
that's right. That's right. Here you go, Mark. I'll gladly have Mark. I'm just tired. I figured that dude was only gonna do an hour. I actually hurt my toe on an ottoman and almost broke it. It's like all swollen.
Damn.
Just a wreck. God, I almost choked on my own spit. Just a wreck.
That's how some of our favorite singers died, choking on their own spit.
Who died like that? Elvis. What's up, buddy? Can you hear us?
Yep.
Hello. Oh,
Okay.
there he is.
What's up, man?
I was going to say, if you can't hear us, take off the headphones. Maybe you can hear us then.
Can you hear? He can hear us.
I can hear you. I just didn't want to interrupt Jay's words of wisdom.
Yeah.
Oh, that's all right. I'm full of shit. Look at my eyes.
You got to be here. So, what does Mark Eddy think of what's going on in the world right now? I mean, are you feeling the same way? Like it's just so crazy. You're like, what the F is going on? And I'm just like in a state of shock.
Yeah, the world's pretty crazy, but was this needed to be done?
Well, some of the information coming out of Tehran was through back channels. China and Russia was feeding them ballistic missiles and possibly even some more fissionable material. But really, no. What really started it off was that the last time they got together with Trump to make, or at least to try to make a treaty, get some kind of deal going. They flat out said, look, we have enough uranium to make 11 bombs. We're not giving it up, and we're not going to stop enriching. And that ended the talks right there. And then 2 days later, we were bombing the shit out of them, and still are.
Mm-hmm.
And the time frame from Mossad says that within 2 to 3 weeks, they would have had enough ballistic missiles to decimate what they've already attacked 12 other countries anyway, besides Israel. But they would have been able to do that with a lot more assuredness and effectiveness with the new missiles they were getting. And then 3 to 6 weeks after that, they would have been able to strike Europe and America. So it is 100% preemptive, and almost all of the countries of the UN agree.
Has the ideology needed to be put in check with the immigration across Europe?
Do what now? I'm confused. I'm about to put a picture up with the immigration across Europe.
Yeah, and the spread of radical Islam.
That's for Jay. But anyway, things are just nuts, man. I really just think they're doing all this stuff because of the Epstein files. That's what everybody really thinks, pretty much, whether you agree with it or not. But it seems like it to me. They're just trying to block this stuff out. Distraction.
Yeah, the distraction. I've also heard, why is Elvis's name on the list?
Yeah,
he was dead before Epstein started.
I think that list was just names who had been mentioned in it, maybe in passing, like in an email. Just, hey, Elvis, not necessarily Elvis's. They're making baby jelly, but basically just people like mentioning him, maybe. And I don't think he was alive doing stuff with them. I think it was just someone saying, You know, it could be something like Epstein saying Elvis has left the building or something stupid, and they even had Kurt Cobain in there. But I think most of that was from Pam Bondi, just stupid, like just trying to put filler out there, you know. Because a lot of that was redacted. I mean, he's in there and it's redacted, and they tried to hide it. Department of Justice just released a thing saying that he assaulted a 13-year-old or 12-year-old, and that was all on the news right now, and that's all over the place. But I just don't understand. I thought they were compromised by him and running it, so I'm surprised they're releasing something that damns him so much so easily. But they just released it. It's everywhere right now, and it's basically, I'm not going to go into detail because it's sick, but it's him and a little girl. And it's horrible. If it's true, I don't know. I wasn't there. I don't have a time machine, but it's in there, and they just released it. I don't know, man. But
yeah, Jay, are you and Joe going to go into more detail on that?
Probably. I just heard about it. I was trying to look up some info on it, but my browser's acting up right now. But yeah, so far of the files, and any females listed in that file have all exonerated Trump from any wrongdoings, and there even one of them was deliberately brought to a party and told if Trump grabs you or does anything untoward, don't say anything, just let him go ahead and do it. And she said nothing happened. But also on top of that, just think about how insane it is. The Democrats had these files for at least 8 years throughout Biden administration and Obama administrations. If there was anything that would put Trump in jail, because the Democrats wanted him in jail because they knew Clinton would not win. Hillary could not win going against Trump, and she didn't. Had they had information in those files that would put him in jail for child molestation, he would be in there, and Hillary Clinton would have been president after Obama, not Trump.
It's because they're all complicit in it. All of them, even the Clintons, they're in on it on some level. They're all. Even Epstein said he worked for the Rockefellers. They're
Rothschilds.
Yeah, the Rothschilds. I was thinking of a comic book called the Rockefellers.
Yeah, almost all the properties that he owns are linked to them as well.
And basically, they think he was a front for a shadow government or billionaire elites that they all do this. Every one of them, on every side.
He was a plant to get blackmail information on rich, influential billionaires and millionaires, actors, and prominent public figures, so that the blackmail could be used against them, so that they would be complicit in doing whatever the evil stuff the Democrats wanted them to do.
Let me tell you, man, if I was God, which I'm not, but if I was and some dude was about to do something to a little baby like that, I'd squish his head. I'd just squish his head before he could do it. It's like Minority Report. Squish, 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 like a zit. Just squish his brains out.
It seems like a lot of people are very disturbed by what they've heard.
It's insane. It's like I don't think people can wrap their head around it.
And people have a visceral reaction.
It's just too much to even. I mean, the things that are going on. Like, I mean, there's something on Facebook now. They were impregnating girls aged 11 through 14. They took the babies away at birth, starved them so they would. I'm not going to say that part of it. They placed audio of their mother's voices to make them perform better. I'm changing the wording. Then they killed them and ate them. How the F isn't the world burning over the Epstein files? Like, I mean, who does that to a little baby?
There's even more graphic stuff that allegedly they did with children and babies.
Who wants to have sex with a baby?
No, they weren't having sex with them.
I thought there was stuff. There was stuff too, though. There was stuff about them having sex with the baby.
I didn't hear any about that. I didn't hear about
the hearts out of living babies. That's what that whole thing was. I just I just said it was about them
Yeah.
playing the mother's voices so the babies would perform better sexually.
Yeah,
It's
but
in there.
none of that is confirmed. I haven't heard. That's
It's
all
in
of that
there,
is.
though. It's in there. I don't know if it's
No,
confirmed or
it's
not. But
not.
it's
It's
in there.
conjecture and rumor, and that's coming out from the bad side of the news programs that are untrustworthy. If that's trust me, if that stuff was in there, there'd be a lot more people going to jail right now.
It's not that part of it's not mentioning him, but it's in there. That's what they just said.
The only thing that I've heard that was confirmed that was in there was that there are reports of live babies having their hearts cut out while they were alive and being eaten. What they did with the baby
I saw
after.
a video on Instagram. Anyway, he's gone. He left. Jay will kiss Trump's butt. If Trump asked him to change his diaper, Jay would do it and go, "Okay, you want some baby cream, rash cream? Here you go. Here you go." Anyway, he didn't have to hear that. He's not here, so he didn't, unless he listens later. Anyway.
What else is going on? How are the all your critters?
They're good. Everything just seems weird, like energetically. I mean, who knows what's about to happen? Is a nuke about to go off? Is Terminators from Russia about to kill us? Is China about to come in? Is there about to be some Iranian dudes on flying carpets dropping grenades on us? I mean, I think they feel the energy and they seem like they're acting kind of weird lately. Like they're nervous.
It is that feeling independent of the Mercury retrograde? Is it or just all coinciding at the same time?
I think it's just all of the above. And I've heard this Mercury retrograde is very gruesome. It's supposed to be very bad. It feels that way, that's for sure. I've not heard anything good about it, that's for sure. But yeah, it's just a lot. And then, I mean, we don't know what's about to happen from him doing this stupidity. I mean, this is worse than Bush in Iraq. This is, I mean, Iran.
Mm-hmm.
We don't know what they're about to do. They just get one nuke in a suitcase through. We're gone. I mean, that's scary when Trump's firing everybody all over the place. Like he fired all the COVID people, fired all the disease control people, and then it's like he's doing things. I think he's a saboteur. I think he sabotages and he's just here to destroy us. I don't really think he's here to help us, and I don't understand the Kool-Aid drinkers that think he is. I don't see anything good. I haven't gotten a check from him. What happened to the DOGE and blah, blah, blah. And we're going to get a tariff check and blah. I ain't seen no check from nobody. Where? I ain't heard nobody saying they got a check. He ain't doing nothing. He wants us dead. I think he's going to kill us.
I think the Supreme Court shot down the tariffs, so that may explain why we may not get the checks. It'd help.
Yeah, we get those checks, I'll come on here and kiss that check live on the cam. When I see that check. His son's done looted that check. That check's gone with your Medicaid or whatever. His sons, man, they looted cancer people, university people. They're looting us. I saw a thing that the Trump family is making like $500,000 per hour looting us. Like, they're just looting. He's like the guy from Dune that's flying around, the fat guy that all the,
Mm-hmm.
Jay can kiss his butt all his wants. I ain't. And that don't mean I'm a liberal or a Democrat. I don't like any of them. They lie. Listen, I've had UFOs show up in my yard and weird beings looking in my windows. They can't control their ass from a hole in the ground if they can't control that. Let me tell you. We'll be lucky we ain't dead by the end of the summer.
So, are you expecting, is the sightings that you've had, or is that related to, say something like, Mercury retrograde? Is there some kind of astronomical event that you could link the sightings to?
Well, I mean, there was just an alignment of planets that was pretty crazy. There's Mercury retrograde. I know during some of my sightings, there, I during the summer, I think it was 1996. It was the summer of Hell Bop. That comet was out there, and everybody's freaking out about it. And I had a lot of UFO stuff happen during that summer. And I also went to see
Okay.
Marilyn Manson, Antichrist Superstar that summer. So that was crazy in Atlanta. But I saw Hellbop, and then I saw the Heaven's Gate guy, Applewhite, on TV. And for some reason, I saw him on TV, and I didn't know who they were at all. This is pretty crazy. I shouldn't tell this story. I do it anyway. But anyway, I was tripping. And anyway, a tear went down my face for some reason. And I was like, who is this guy on TV? And then it said they were all dead and they went to go meet the comet. And I swear before I came inside, I was meditating on that comet and I saw a bunch of white lights go towards it. And I don't know if it was them or what it was. But then I went inside that house and saw that guy on TV from that whole cult. They were crazy. I mean, I'm not saying you should go cut your nuts off and wear black and wear Nikes or whatever. But there was weird with that comet. And what was really weird is during that, I think it was Art Bell and Coast to Coast, and it may have been proven to be a hoax, but there's a big to-do about a companion object behind it. And they were passing around pictures of it. And later they said it was a hoax, but they had that comet and there was some kind of companion. That was from Coast to Coast. So that was a weird summer.
No, I remember seeing the Hale-Bopp comet. It was very impressive. I remember people saying, if you look in whatever direction, it's going to look like a cotton ball.
Yeah.
And then there's the long streaming tail. I don't know if we've really seen anything like that since then. We don't, comets aren't that frequent within someone's lifetime, but I can see where people would get
crazy,
interpret something like with a doomsday kind of connotation, but I don't think probably most of tonight's viewers aren't going to live to see Halley's Comet return. I think that comes around every 75 years.
Yeah, like 60 or 75, something like that.
Yeah, that was I forget when it came but 20 some years ago.
I remember it being there when I was a kid.
Yeah, I just wonder what people how people long ago interpreted such celestial observations. Were they seeing more of an optimistic sign?
Well, it's interesting. We were talking about Eric earlier and Trump and Mabus in that show. Well, I don't know if you listen to Eric, but supposedly when Mabus dies, the comet will run. And he thinks Trump is him. And, I would be curious if something happened, if, he croaked or whatever, if, what would happen, because that's how the prophecy goes. And he broke down Trump using Trump and it is Mabus. And it's pretty articulate. Even Wham, thinks there's something to it. Even Jay does, and he kisses Trumpelgooch butt. So that's pretty interesting. Eric thinks Trump is Mabus, the third Antichrist.
Mm-hmm.
Today, boys and girls, on Fox News.
Yeah, was it has the Mabus character ever been identified? Like as a person? Is that the one where people aren't sure who it is because it's somewhere in the future? I think what Napoleon and Hitler seemed
Napoleon was the first, Hitler was the second, and Mabus is the third Antichrist, supposedly. The remission.
Okay, so that is a maybe someone who's been born or someone still yet to be born. Okay. It is, Nostradamus's prophecies are interesting, but some of them are kind of vague. I don't know if we can.
There's something to it, but
some are precise, others are kind of ambiguous, but the three antichrists are pretty. They seem more like defined characters.
Yep, and someone said they've seen documentaries putting Trump as a third. Lately we've had Penny Bradley on. If you go to Rumble and look up Penny Bradley, Church of Mabus, they're on YouTube too. She claims that the elites put together this weird play and Trump is the beast of the apocalypse. And that was the part he was assigned of all this. And weirdly enough, I've seen things underneath posts, like regular political posts. I've seen Christians discussing, like amongst themselves, Trump being the beast. And it's like a normal post that you would see from Democracy Now! Or whatever, one of those Democrat kind of groups. And you're like, it even shocked me that they were just like, they were dead serious. I didn't know them from Adam, but they seem like just like regular Christians discussing that Trump's the beast of the apocalypse. That's where we're at now. So I don't rule it out. He seems very Napoleonic to me and stupid like that. Napoleon was smart in some ways, but in others stupid. But Trump is definitely that and very Napoleonic, and he's about to kill us all. So I don't know if he's the Antichrist, but he certainly is part of that spirit. And I think Putin is. I think a lot of these, dictator jokers are. But I don't know. But he definitely. I just don't see this having a happy ending the way things look right now. It seems like a lot of people are in denial about it or something. It's like Germany. And everybody was like, "Oh, Hitler's not going to do anything." Oh, He's doing it.
Chamberlain really missed that one.
The weirdest thing is how people see him and they just don't see him doing anything, that everything he does is right. That's how Jay acts. It's like, at least have some discernment and weigh the odds. I mean, even if I was for him and sitting around like a normal supporter of him, something would still seem really wrong to me right now. I guess it does to a lot of them, because a lot of them are turning against him right now. I've seen a lot of right-wing radio hosts from that are usually MAGA supporters. They're turning against him and saying F Trump. And I've seen Sean Ryan say that. I've seen several, and I have to keep up with that crap for work, and they're turning against him. But by then, it's not going to be too late, because if he does what he wants to do, it ain't going to matter if you vote. It ain't going to matter if you don't like him. It don't matter. because he's already building camps. He's going to start probably rounding up the opposition. I wouldn't put it past him. What we're hoping is that the military turns against him or something. That's the only thing I see. Like, we need some rogue Navy SEALs or something.
What, your first hour guest was covering a lot of, brought up the skunk apes and Bigfoot. What is the comic book? What are the comic book artists? How are they portraying all the current world events?
It's an interesting thing. I mean, it seems like, some comics kind of embrace it, but one that I've seen lately that's kind of let me find the name of it real quick. There's a King Arthur one called it's called CORT, Children of the Round Table Court, CORT, and it's DC. And the last issue of it ends with her with a dude or the character with a Excalibur in front of the White House. They're about to go in there and slay. But it's reaching, look at music. A lot of the guy from Rage Against the Machine is like doing anti-Nazi concerts now, Tom Morello, and there's a bunch of bands like KMFDM and I forget Dropkick Murphys that are Ice-T changed his song Cop Killer to Ice Killer. Like, music is reacting in a lot of ways. There's that song by Ice Cube about arrest the president. That whole song's about him. So music's reacting. It's just it's a little slow, but it's speeding up. It seems things are just crazy.
Yeah, you get a lot of the country artists being supportive of Trump's policies. It just seems like so there's a balance in the art world.
It's basically art reacting to fascism, authoritarianism. Yeah, the best bet right now is, like someone said, I'm kind of nervous for my biracial kids, especially my daughter, because she looks Latina. I wouldn't go anywhere. Just try to avoid. I went to some Mardi Gras parade. It was fun, but they had a sniper on the roof there, like a big giant. I don't know what the hell it was, like set up in a display of power. So it's like, God, it's not even safe to go to Walmart at this point.
What was that for? The customer's protection?
I don't know. It was weird. It was at the Alabama Mardi Gras. There was dudes in camo and just like a big ass sniper gun that looked like something from G.I. Joe. It was real. And they were on their walkie-talkie of security, I guess. And they just had it in case something happened. But it was kind of crazy that it was just sitting there like that, like on the roof. I guess if something happened, they would have got on there and did it. Shot somebody, sniped them. But yeah, things are really scary. I mean, God. They're saying gas is about to go up.
Oh, that already started last week.
I just don't feel like he's trying to help us. I don't really think he cares. That's why I don't understand when Jay's like, oh, no, protects him at every angle. He doesn't seem like he cares. I don't think he's doing anything to help us, or the stuff he says he's going to do, he don't do it. He just says he's going to do it. It's just too weird. At this point, I'm wondering if they're going to start rounding us up into camps. They're building the camps. I saw Steve Schmidt talking about the camps they're building, and that guy's on Bill Maher and very respected and right wing, and he was passing around things showing the camps, supposedly for ICE. But yeah, that's what they'll start putting us in it for long if he gets his way.
What's the status of that alligator Alcatraz? Is that still?
I thought they stopped it, but who knows what they have we don't know about. But I thought they stopped that particular one somehow.
Yeah, I wasn't. I wasn't sure about that. That's why I had a question. Um, I don't know if it's still being used. I don't know if it's people are going to be, citizens are going to be put in there. But I was just wondering if it's still in operation.
I thought it got stopped or something, but
Okay.
there were some crazy videos going around, people dead serious that they thought they were putting some of these ICE detainees on planes and just letting them out over the ocean, like dropping them. Like there was serious videos going around about that. But who knows what's real anymore and
How,
what
how,
ain't.
how much of that is just AI and psyop programs?
Yeah, I
Uh,
don't know. There's so much crap. Can't keep
yeah,
up
yeah.
with.
Penny's good at identifying things like that.
Penny's great. Like, man, have you been watching her? She's just going off
Yeah,
on
I'm
Facebook.
a little bit familiar with her and her uh,
She's always going off.
not Nachtwaffen shows. Is that the right
Yeah,
title?
yeah, that's it. Her Facebook, she's always raging against the machine. We've had her on twice. I want to get her back for sure. Penny Bradley.
Hmm. And uh, she does present interesting insights. I don't know. I'm a little bit familiar with her. I'm not like a weekly watcher, but I have seen numerous shows of hers, and she does uh, present
She,
interesting social commentary.
yeah,
Are we not learning from history?
yeah.
There is that angle of her reporting.
She's good at it. And at first, when you hear some of this stuff, you're like, oh, exopolitics kookiness. But when you really listen to her, she's really getting into the truth.
Yeah,
And, it's really real stuff.
I think Penny does a lot of research for her shows.
I mean, I saw an African American gentleman talking about how we're living in V, the series right now. The reptilians that come down and
Mhm.
eat people in the water. And those movies, They Live and V's coming up a lot since all the Epstein stuff and all that stuff. And it's just crazy. There's some crazy story about some lady that said she saw Epstein turn into a reptilian going around, which, I'm not saying that's real, but it seems like monstrous, though, what they were doing. It doesn't seem odd. Eating babies, baby jerky.
Jay, what's the latest in Pennsylvania?
I'll
What's
be
going on
right back.
there?
Restroom, real quick.
Well, not a whole lot's going on. The latest I heard this afternoon was that Shapiro's making another push to get recreational marijuana through the Senate. The representatives passed it, so it's just got to go through the Senate. And there were a couple of firm Republican holdouts on the Senate side there, though. But he wanted to get it. He wanted to get it pushed through last year, so it was
Hmm.
saleable to now. But I think the push now is to get it in the midterms, get it through Congress, state Congress, and then legalize it and have it ready to go for next year. There seem to be a few pro prohibitionists in the regards that they want to pass it, but they were concerned about some certain controls about it. The way they want to do it is give it to the liquor control. So you go to so Pennsylvania is kind of like Maryland, where you can't go to a liquor, wine, and beer store. You can go to the beer store and get beer and wine, and you can go to the liquor store and you can get liquor, cold liquor, and warm beer. and that's it. That's what they want to do. That's a bad idea. The infrastructure is already there for the medical, and if they follow Maryland's process is pretty cool. They still have the medical cards, and so when you go to the dispensary, if you have a medical card, you bump to the front of the line in front of anyone who's ordered either online and come to the store to pick up, or that's come to the store to order and then pick up. So they pick at the registers, they go medical first, pre-order second, and then kiosk or in the store. If they do that method through the already existing dispensaries in the state, they're going to get a lot more revenue from that. Because I think there's more dispensaries per area than there are liquor stores. There's one liquor store in my town, one liquor store in Chambersburg, one liquor store in Greencastle. That's one venue versus a store that has 3 and 4 venues per city. Like Rise, for example, has 2 locations in Chambersburg, and then there's one in Gettysburg. So they're 30 minutes apart, but there's more of them, and it's that would give you more revenue.
So, yeah, you're close enough to Maryland where so some of the Maryland news would bleed over into Pennsylvania. So
Right.
what are you seeing that is more effective in getting the cannabis products out in Maryland?
Well, for one thing, they've had the infrastructure since that was voted in 2019, I think. And it took them 3 years to get it going. So they've been doing it medically for a while, but the same dispensaries that do the medical do the recreational. So they got that 3 years head start on the recreational side for them, and I think the formula works. For example, Rise has a location that was once a bank, so they use there's a vault. There's a 24-hour big door money vault that they store their product in, and then there's a drive-through, which they use. They don't use the tube drive-throughs, the 6th, 4th, 5th lanes and whatever, but the one right off the building they use on certain occasions. And then the other location in town, in the Hagerstown, they don't use. It's not a bank. I'm sure they have a vault, but they have a walk-up. They have 2 walk-up windows on the outside. You can park your car, walk up to the window, and get it, or you can go inside through the kiosk. So they have a couple of. I mean, I don't really agree with it as a drive-through product, just my opinion. But the idea of putting it in the legislature that those locations that have a bank, a former location that was once a bank that they're using as a dispensary, is a much more secure location than a liquor store, which has maybe a small vault, just a small safe to put their registered tills in, and that's about it. They wouldn't have enough room to lock up millions of dollars worth of product.
Have you heard the customers are doing better with the dispensary products than prescriptions?
So Hagerstown has a huge problem with prescription abuse and
like opioid
abuse, heroin, and crack abuse in the town, and they're trying to crack down on it. So the dispensaries have alleviated that problem to a degree, but it still exists. But I don't think it's until they've actually asked for help from the FBI and the DEA on this in that town. That's how bad it's gotten. So no, there's not a lot. The people that are, you can tell the ones that are strung out, they're missing teeth and they have, track marks and whatnot, and they do tend to go through the dispensaries, but there's still the underlying problem of the illegal drugs, and there's a lot of illegal marijuana going through there as well. And I think we've noticed a downtick in violent crime because less people are drinking, or less people are smoking the street weed that could potentially be laced with fentanyl. And if you're smoking weed with fentanyl in it and you're not aware of it being in there, it could kill you.
Mm-hmm.
So that's
I
the one thing I've seen is that the dispensaries have decreased the street sales dramatically.
okay. I've kind of followed some of the clean needle exchange programs, and it just seems like all you're doing is perpetuating an addiction, or you you might be
I
cutting
agree.
down.
Yeah, the needle thing is that absolutely perpetuates the thing because they can come and bring their old ones and get new ones.
Yeah.
If it was a one way where they come and put their old needles away and they don't get any new ones, you might find an uptick in a few people dying of heart attacks and what is it when you don't get your drug,
Withdrawal.
you're dying of withdrawal syndromes. Thank you. Yeah, you might see an uptick in that. And then there are certain cities and localities, and whether it's the police or fire and rescue services, if they hit you with the Narcan, they register you, and if they hit you 3 times, after the 3rd time, you don't get a 4th one. They come to you and you're ODing on the street, and they have Narcan, and they see that you've had 3 previously. Those are your 3 strikes. You're out of there, buddy. So it's a long, slow process, but I think we're going to see especially once the country expands to 100% 50 states and territories, legal and recreational. It's going to be a slow process to get the rest of the really bad street drugs out of there. But people are seeing that, the government lies to us about all kinds of stuff. Marijuana was the highest on the drug schedule, which means it's, too dangerous for experiments, too dangerous for industrial use, too dangerous for, any kind of, normal use. But then it's also the gateway drug to drugs that are less dangerous than it on the same scale. It didn't make any sense. The true gateway drugs are cigarettes and booze.
I was going to say just alcohol usually is.
Yeah, but
What
if you don't start with cigarettes too, you're less likely to start smoking weed. So most people who smoke weed smoke cigarettes or did smoke cigarettes. Very few people who started weed did not smoke cigarettes. I only know one of my many friends. He was a non-smoker and always has been, but he smokes weed.
Yeah. Have you ever been to like Amsterdam?
No, bucket list for sure, definitely. Well, I mean, we have it recreationally legal here in many areas, so it's a different experience there because it's the culture. It's it's part of that red light district.
Right.
It's coffee and weed on one side of the street, hookers and strip clubs on the other. So,
But but they also go together as well, and that I. I think Michael Schellenberger has an interesting book with San Francisco, and I think it's very informative book. I'm just looking for more information. Maybe those studies still have to be done about how much is like the dispensaries helping people who have had long-term illnesses, taking the same prescriptions, and there is no end in sight in ever uh, getting off the prescriptions. But is uh, cannabis doing something to greatly improve the uh, outcomes for the patient? I'd like
I, I
to.
I think that is happening. I think you will start seeing those numbers, and particularly Colorado being the first state to go recreational. You're going to see a lot of um, amazing numbers come out of that. But just from watching people in line, there's people that they have like conniption fits. You can tell, or they walk. They have a palsy. They walk funny. Uh, these kind of chemicals actually relieve their stresses from those poorly and badly bent bones that they have.
Mhm.
People that have fits that they conniptions, whatever you want to call them. It helps with those epileptic fits. People that have those, the
Mhm.
marijuana helps with them with that as well. uh, you're not going to see any numbers coming from pharmacopoeia except for the drugs that they make for those same illnesses, uh, spasms and people with palsies. The sales in that's going to go down.
I I I think it's going to be interesting to watch, and because the Ohio Valley does have is basically the epicenter of the opioids. Um, you're still seeing fallout 20 some years later with the growing number of people living under bridges and
Mhm.
the homeless shelters. Um, I just, the the people had, uh, I I would assume some of the population who lives under a bridge now had a work injury. Then the doctor cut them off, and they needed the same molecule, and that was all, basically found in heroin, since
Mhm.
opioids and heroin are basically the same.
Oh yeah.
uh, and just drive just driving through town, you can see what how that product has really hurt, the opioid product really hurt people's lives.
Yeah, and
And
big pharma promoted it big time.
yeah, well, yeah, I'm very much aware that uh, doctors also would uh,
Typical
you know
Dr. Feel Good.
yeah, yeah, fill a product, or fill a prescription for you, and increase the dose.
Yep,
And
perpetuated a
yeah,
bad, and we're seeing the
it
bad results of that. I mean, this is
yeah,
30, 40 years in the making, all of this.
yeah, and you know you can read Death at Mud Lick. yeah, you get people. You can see a lot of people in like the downtown area. You also get some of the homeless advocate groups who minimalize the number as well of there's only just a few people, so sometimes there's some fuzzy math involved, but there's a, a lot of crossover between the subjects, and um I just like to know how we're going to help people to get through this. They're, if you're addicted, it does become a lifelong situation. You can find sobriety, but you still have to keep it under control, or for the rest of your life.
Yeah, and
But
Kira just made a good mention of a drug that I can't take, Dilaudid. Dilaudid is an opiate analog. It's a synthetic morphine. I've had my first kidney stone. I had morphine, didn't touch the pain whatsoever. They said, well, we would like to give you Dilaudid. I said, no, you can't. I'm allergic to it. And I said, well, what happens if you get that? And I said, well, at the injection site, it becomes itchy and rashy. So yeah, it doesn't do anything. The opiates, they're not very good. The next things up from that is Percocets and that starts with a D. Anyway, they're using now a thing called Toradol, which is a yeah, morphine's terrible. I don't know why people even inject that shit in their veins. But the Toradol is a NSAID, non-steroidal anti-inflammatory, and it's they say it's non-habit forming. I've had quite a bit of it for the last several weeks because I've been fighting kidney stones, and it's not like Percocets. When they give you those, you take one Percocet, you're down for 4 or 5 hours, 6 hours, 7 hours. You're a vegetable because it just knocks the shit out of you. This stuff, it's kind of, you can't put you to sleep, makes you drowsy. You can't operate like heavy machinery. I drive forklifts for a living, so I can't drive forklifts on it.
Right.
I can't drive a car, but it takes care of the pain, and it's a small pill, and if I need one, it's like one a day, whereas Percocets is 1 or 2 or 3 a day, and by the time you do that, that's 21 hours. Yeah, you can't function. It's 21 hours. You just sleep the whole goddamn day. So at least you can function on these, especially if you have someone who can drive you around and stuff, or if you can walk to places and things of that nature.
Yeah, that was
Gotta end everything.
okay.
But
Yeah, thanks, Shay, for your information. I was just trying to contrast the traditional route versus what is being used today, and I'm just
get some
hoping
grass,
for the
Mark.
best for everyone.
Smoke some grass, Mark.
Yeah, out west is even way different. We can talk about that on another show.
Here we go. This United Public Radio 107.7 FM New Orleans. Make sure you check out our Facebook group. You can go to Church of Mabus Radio.com. That's Church of MABUS Radio.com. It'll take you straight to our Facebook group. Everybody have a good weekend. We'll see you next week with Todd Blackwood, a comic guy that works with some very popular people in comics that I can't say on there, but all right. See you next Friday.